ball, shooting some b-ball outside of school with a couple of guys who were up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your Nazi uncle in Bel Air."
People in the house, let's go. It's your boy JC. So pass that thing and watch me flex. Behind my back, you know what's next. Jam, all in your face. What's up? Just feel the bass. Drop it, lock it down the room. Shake it quick in space. Come on.
Don't you tell me to smile. You stick around and make it with your wild. Knowing me on what you can die. Because people are so versatile. Style, profile. I said, it always makes you back when I hit ooh child. From the hunter never out to run now. I will never fall to the very last eye. When you follow me, I will provide.
In the club, hard ride. Look up pretty girl, she on the job. Now stop when we get inspired. Booty move away like she on the fly. With a drink, I got to know. Tight jeans, tattoo, cause I'm rock. Half black, half white, diamond now. Gang the money, on the top.
Yo, I'm running through these halls like Drano. I got that devilish blue rock and roll, no halo. We party rock. Yeah, that's the crew that I'm repping on the rise to the top. No Lennon or Zeppelin. I'm a nice dude with some nice cream. See these ice creams, see these ice creams. Eligible bachelor, $1 million boat. That's smarter than West Spilling down your throat. Phantom, exterior electrosols. The interior like superstar wristwear. I can exercise you. This could be the phys ed. She from the man, that's how you get his ass.
Shaking in your fingers pop like a bitch in the neck on Mr. Strop.
Step up fast and be the first girl to make me throw this cash. We get money, don't be mad, I'll stop. Hate is bad, one more shot for us. Another round, please fill up a cup. Don't mess around, you just wanna see. You shake it up, now you home with me. Get naked, man.
Tell me your name. Don't quit, let's dance all night. Just slide, from left to right, just slide. So simplified, she needs a top face. Bitch, I'm running your face. Get money, let's dance for fun. 101, run the home and I run the shit. So come on, baby, just jam for me.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down.
Ready. Turn it up cause it's getting heavy. Wild, wild, West Coast. These are the girls I love the most. I mean the ones, I mean like she's the one. Kiss and touch and squeeze her hands.
We're gonna take it into overtime. Till the space. So Chinese to the minutes to the space.
I gotta testify, come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl, testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky.
Being a norm, Korea not a norm. Baby, baby, not a more norm, not a norm. Being a norm, Korea not a norm. Baby, baby, not a more norm, not a norm. What I'm saying?
Come on, everybody say ga la 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 la. Come on, let me hear you say hey. Come on, everybody ga la 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 la.
Got the room on and the Porsche on rolling over the best things that I got going on.
Mario T like to keep it clean. Gonna shine like Jason Z. Fun running cause that's my dream. More deep or stick it to things. Yeah, when it comes to envy, gold and green. Jokes of the rhyme and the rhyme routine. Another dimension, new galaxy. Intergalactic planetary.
wasted wearing those.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Stories from Creators Live, episode 23. I'm your host, Robert, and we don't have many topics to get into tonight, but we got some serious topics. Not serious, but we got some long topics to go through. Our main topic tonight is going to be TikTok. As you can see, it's kind of a React Andy night for us, for me at least tonight. We're going to go over the Hasan stuff, starting off, but we're going to also go over this, which will be really quick. And then to end the stream off, I'm going to download this browser. You guys got to see me download this browser. You can see I don't have it on my desktop at all or installed on my computer. We're going to download this browser. I'm going to go to TikTok. I'm going to make a whole new account. And I'm going to see what TikTok just feeds me as a Kickstarter to see how evil TikTok is and how their kind of algorithm works. But as a little appetizer, shall we say, we got this from Keemstar. Now, if you guys don't know, Keemstar directed this tweet towards Ninja because Ninja took his G Fuel flavor, which I kind of gave a take on that earlier on Twitter. Where is it? Okay, it's right here. So here's what Keem said.
Everybody agrees with me, right? Ninja steal my flavor. He's a rat for that. But to the few people that are thinking I'm being petty, I get it. Right, you're right to look at this.
I'm petty.
Level and be like,
You kidding?
Being petty. I get it. You're right, but you don't have the context. All right, I've been friends with this dude since 2017. Every time he's in drama, every time the internet is mean to him and over the top, not being fair to him, I stick up for the fucking dude. He's been on my podcast. Me and Banks, we bought him this huge. I don't know. I've been tight with Ninja forever. The fact that he goes to G Fuel and says, I want cotton candy because, look, the manager, his wife, and him are looking at this and they're like, okay, what flavor should we do? What makes business sense? And because my fans have been asking for my flavor to return cotton candy forever, they're like, okay, let's just take Keem's. Now, if Ninja would have came to me and said, Keem, can I bring cotton candy back? I'd be like, yes, you have my blessing. You're my homie. Go ahead. Rock it. Like, he would have the full blessings, but that's not what happened, okay? Ninja didn't say shit to me. His wife contacts me and says, hey, we just want to let you know that we're launching a cotton candy can, all right? She didn't fucking ask for my blessing. She didn't ask for shit. She just fucking told me that they're doing it, right? This is like weeks before it was announced. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fucking say something. That's not fucking cool. I'm gonna fucking say something. So I'm like, you know what? I calmed down for a little bit. I talked to many other fucking creators about the situation. Everybody agrees he's a rat for it. And I'm like, you know what? Let me talk to Ninja himself. So I call this dude multiple times, no answer. Like, so, fuck you. Fuck that blue-haired freak. I'm done. I hate him. I unfollowed him and unfollowed his greedy little fucking wife on everything. When next time you guys are in trouble, don't ask for my help. I'm not gonna help you. Fuck off. It was so disrespectful to do it the way you did it.
So there's Keem's take on this. Keem's opinion on this. Here's my take on this. For the most part, I've liked Ninja, but how are you gonna have your wife message the guy whose flavor you're stealing and tell her to say, hey, we're taking your flavor, and that's that, get screwed. That's my whole take on this, is they basically just told him, get screwed, we're gonna take your flavor either way, I'm not gonna ask you. That's the main thing, right? Why not just take it? Why are you gonna be like, hey, why do you have to tell him, like, just like shove it into his face, hey, we're gonna get a huge sum of income from taking the flavor that you left on G Fuel. So yeah, so Keem made this tweet today, and it just says @Ninja, and it's just Keem jamming to this beat. You can see him just jamming. So you guys get the point. So I quote tweeted this, and this pretty much confirms it. I mean the whole tweet itself confirms it, but I said, Keem finna bring back a 2017 YouTube commentary with a diss track. And look who liked it. The man himself, Keemstar. So yeah, Keemstar is gonna bring back 2017 commentary with the YouTube diss track. So that's a little fun topic there. I'm gonna boot up Mario 64 and I'm gonna react to some of these videos. So this first one is a Hasan one. Hasan versus XQC. Augie, we're walking into Augie RFC's whole like explanation of this. He's gonna explain it when we get into it, and I'm gonna give my takes on it. I pretty much generally like the same take because I mean, well, just wait and see.
Is a total man-child. I mean, he is just terrible. And in this clip, you're gonna see exactly why. Last night on my podcast, we went over the Hasan XQC tier list drama, which is a sentence I can't believe I'm actually saying in real life. There's drama because Hasan got rated a B tier on a tier list. It just goes to show just how insecure all these like Twitch guys are, especially Hasan specifically. Like, my God, dude, really? That's what it takes?
Literally,
Anyway, guys,
he
I hope
like
y'all
ended
enjoyed
a
the
whole
clip, and just a reminder, if you're a channel
friendship
member
over
or patron,
a tier
bonus show will be
list
going
rating.
on later today, so enjoy that. Anyway, folks, enjoy the clip. Let's get into today's drama, ladies and gentlemen. Get a load of this, all right? Hasan is a
Hang on, let's
B-tier
check.
streamer.
Sorry guys, the
And
audio
oh
level's a bit
boy, it
iffy.
gets bad. Boy, does
Doing
this
my
get
test.
bad. First, let's be fair. Let's review the incriminating material, all right?
The incriminating
Hasan is
material.
B.
That's not even
I like
bad
Hasan a
in
lot.
comparison to the whole
like Hasan.
list.
Watch
Yeah,
the whole
literally.
list. Watch how much.
Saying, I like Hasan. I would've
There's
seen
literally
this as a
5
compliment.
tiers
I
below
would've
B,
Dude,
and
like,
Hasan got
he
on
has,
the
like,
second to
3 other tiers below
highest
it.
tier, the second to like for the first tier basically. And Hasan got mad over that he got rated a B.
I like Hasan a lot. He doesn't play a lot of games, so it cuts his versatility a little bit.
Damn.
He's just trying to be objective.
Yeah, he's not as versatile as he play as many
He has
games.
less variety.
And I feel
Wait a minute, Bobax, didn't you freak out when we put you in B tier on the commentary tier list?
Was I in BT?
Wait a minute.
I don't remember.
I have no
don't
idea.
know, I was memeing. I've never actually.
Listen to
been
Boblex is trying to like. I feel like Boblex just knows and remembers, but he's trying to slide it off like, I don't want to be like
He's
Hasan.
like in the top, like 20% of the
God damn
list.
it.
By the way, we're hearing the harsh criticism from XQC that Hasan doesn't play enough video games. Just gut-wrenching. Ugh. But I'm sure it gets worse, guys. I'm sure it gets
I don't
worse.
watch XQC, but when I think it's kind of hypocritical of him to say he doesn't play enough video games.
It could be more fun.
Or I guess like, enough. It means he can be a react. He's fine with him being a react Andy, but he just wants him to like kind of react or play video games. God dang
I
it.
can't believe this is real drama.
Sugar taco.
That's it? That's the whole clip. Okay.
Literally.
Well, there we go. All right, we'll get a load of this, all right? Have we got the fucking news for you, okay? Have we got the news for you? He got mad.
I hate him
Literally.
now.
Dude,
That's
I
literally
hate
what he
him a
said.
little
I
now.
hate him a
Hasan
little now.
Yeah.
Actually
Oh
furious.
my god.
With XQC after Twitch streamer tier list snub. The popular
Snub.
streaming star
Character.
didn't hold back. What the fuck?
Snub.
How is
Holy
this drama? Are you
Number
kidding
one,
me?
it shows how number one, it shows how sensitive he is, but number two, it shows how like disloyal he is. Hasn't he like hung out with XQC a lot of times, like their colleagues, like
Yeah, they did collabs, you know.
out every day.
So this is the thing
It's
about
like,
Twitch,
let-
right?
let's
Compared to
see if I
YouTube.
can find an equivalent.
Twitch
Like, if I was,
streamers
like-
are more
it's like
well
gamers
connected
from
to
Mars
each other.
made,
Like the
a
top
channel
guys
just
are
to
well
YouTubers that put
more
me
well
on
connected to
Twitter
each other than,
before,
you know,
and I was
generally
like, fuck
a lot of the
dude.
Yeah,
YouTubers.
fuck that guy.
Makes no sense.
And
Oh,
like
my
Hasan just
God.
ended a whole friendship over
I hate him a little
over
now.
essentially that.
He has
Actually
legitimate
seething.
disdain.
He's seething
Legitimate
to the mainstream media about this. Jesus.
Oh god dang it.
That's
How do
it. XQC is pretty much a right winger.
Okay.
That's on now.
Oh,
Literally.
no.
XQC,
Well, he does
is-
gamble, and gambling is a well-known right-wing
Yeah.
like
I mean,
activity.
Nice.
gambling's bad, and everything bad is right wing. So honestly,
Apparently.
yeah, I think he's pretty much a Nazi.
So let's
Oh god
read
dang
it.
it.
In true Content King fashion, XQC made a streamer tier list during his stream on June 14th in which he ranked the biggest Twitch and YouTube stars in categories ranging from best to worst using S through D tier systems and eventually placed himself on the top. He did in the end throw in a disclaimer saying he wasn't taking it too seriously. Still,
See, look, another
that didn't
thing.
stop it from happening. And the first person he agreed was none other than Hasan Hasanabi Piker. who invented.
And dude, wait. I gotta say
this.
this. One second, I gotta say this.
Nobody else cared.
I gotta say this.
Hasan was.
So back in November, on November 25th, on Thanksgiving, on Instagram, because I'm 14, I'm in middle school, so I got a lot of friends. I have Instagram to connect with my friends. Everyone was like posting these things like tap in and tag the people that you were closest with and the people that you care about your friends that you care about the most for this year, since it's coming to an end or whatever, right? So I tag a couple of people. Like I tagged like 10, maybe 8 people, maybe 5. I tag a couple of people, and then yeah, sure, like 70 people see it and they don't get mad. Yeah, sure, there's like one person that like just sends me but not me, and then like a little tear emoji, and it's like, okay, dude. But it's not like all 70 of those people that I didn't put in that list that are messaging me being like, you didn't put me in that list, I'm gonna end our friendship now over this because I'm so mad at you. And it's like, grow a pair, dude. Come on, really?
The only one that got mad. Who vented about it publicly on social media before commenting on it further in private on his Discord server.
Whoa, so he's going to his Discord server filled with like hyper fans and malding about it? Oh
yeah,
my god.
Little girls.
Like little like hug box, dude.
And he's just like, what? Fuck
I
this
hate
guy.
him a little now.
Oh my god, this is horrible. Quote,
It's
XQC.
like,
oh my god, wait, go ahead.
This might be a bit of a tangent, but have you seen The Boys? Or that show?
No, but
okay, well,
explain.
people in chat will know. So there's this character called like Highlander or whatever, and he's like a total psycho, but everyone has to like, obey him, because if they piss him off, he'll like kill everybody because he has superpowers.
Yeah.
And Hasan's literally that person, dude. He's just like, yeah, I'm the best, right? And everyone's like, yeah. I'm not gonna piss you off. Yeah.
Literally.
Damn.
Literally, dude. Homelander, yeah, Homelander.
Quote, XQC probably ranked me a B-list streamer because I won't have him on when a trending political thing is happening where he has to act like he cares.
He's so
to farm the
bad.
last ounce
I mean,
of
it could be the way
directory
like Augie
before he
reads
goes
it,
back
but
to promoting
still.
crypto gambling to teens for multiple millions.
Whoa!
Hasan said on his secondary Twitter account on June 15th.
Secondary? I didn't even know he had a secondary Twitter.
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
Oh,
No.
let me show you it. This is Hasan's secondary Twitter account.
Oh my god.
Privated. Look at this, right? So he's
I can
crying.
imagine how fucking nuclear that Twitter is, man.
Oh,
Holy
dude.
shit.
If only we could get in. I'll have to send a request.
Oh my god.
Let me in, Hasan. Come on.
Dang it. I've never played Super Mario
Okay,
64
let me in.
before.
I need to see those tweets. What a nuclear thing to say. By the way, he's totally seething. Like this is a totally abnormal and just strange reaction to being ranked B in a tier list. Even if he was ranked F, this reaction would be
Of
insane.
all
Who
things.
cares?
And
XQC
a whole friendship
ranks
and
me
all.
B-list streamer.
You
So,
essentially.
first of all,
Hang on.
Hasan's getting XQC is a piece of shit.
Hang on, let
who
me
uses
pause this for a
current-
second. Essentially, he didn't just end a friendship; he ended a business partnership too. Because when you think about it, when XQC and Hasan do collabs, obviously a collab is the point of a collab is to gain some followers from the person you're doing the collab with, and for that same person to gain followers from you for that person too. He essentially, and that makes you both more money, obviously. He essentially just lost XQC as a business partner now because of this. Because of a tier list. Getting ranked a B on a tier list. Grow a pair, dude.
Fans
Come
to
on.
reach clout to then promote crypto gambling to teenagers as if there's anything wrong with taking a gambling sponsor by
Isn't
default.
there, like, a penguin over here?
Obviously,
I
I
remember
agree
watching
if the
some
sponsorship is a
walkthroughs.
scam.
Okay.
He shouldn't promote scams, but there's
Nice.
nothing wrong with promoting gambling to people as long as he's promoting it to adults and being very clear. Like
He is a
If you-
grown man, baby.
if you can drink on
Literally.
stream, if you can smoke on stream, you should be able to gamble on stream. And if you're taking legitimate sponsors, you shouldn't promote gambling. It's addictive. Awesome. So never drink on stream because alcohol is, it just doesn't make any sense. Never drink on stream. If you have the stance that gambling it cannot be promoted on stream, don't drink or smoke on stream ever. If you're consistent with your viewpoints, fair enough. But if you're not, then I'm gonna make fun of you because it's so hypocritical. So anyway, he went on to cry in his Discord server right here.
Oh my god. You know he's actually mad about it because he didn't bring it up on like his main stream or main Twitter or anything. He's like discussing this in his like little like private sectors of the internet. That's when you know they're triggered, dude.
Let's look at this. It didn't end there, though. Hasan explained XQC as a sweetheart when he isn't trying to be Sweat Lord content demon. I hate these guys.
Literally.
These fucking terms,
They're
dude.
they're so
lingo.
they're so
belong in fucking cages. Like Jesus Christ. Like I hate Twitch talk. I hate it so much.
Sweat Lord content demon.
they're so
What does
sensitive.
that even mean?
They're like that one sensitive
do
kid you
anything
always
for
get a
content.
class with at some point down your life.
Content.
They're like that one sensitive kid you always get a class with that cries about the littlest
Because they
stuff
don't play
ever.
video
They're like
games.
that kid in my first grade class who literally cried
That's
because
sad.
he didn't
Dude,
get an
all of these guys
iPad
have such
to work on
fragile
his
egos. I feel
Minecraft
like the
project because
whole
I got
upper
the
Twitch
iPad
community
instead.
has, like, the
Because it was a
most
first come
fragile
first serve
egos
kind of thing.
Out of anybody ever.
Oh yeah, they're
Online.
terrible.
Even
They're
more
fucking
than
terrible.
like Ethan Ralph.
Let's see here. We might take your call. I don't know. But if you, I don't know. We don't do call-ins on this show. But we'll see later on. Anyway, let's continue with the article here. So it didn't end there. Hasan explained XQC as a sweetheart when he isn't trying to be a Sweatlord content demon, but claims those days are few and far between ever since he struck a crypto gambling deal. Quote, I'm sorry, he's just never been a good person to me, and I don't care. Am I actually mad? No. Do I think XQC would have zero patience from everyone that babies him if he wasn't a 60K Andy? Absolutely.
What? He said he liked your content. What?
He's so mad.
I'm
I
not mad by
unironically
the...
hate him a little now, not gonna lie. I saw XQC's tier list
I
and
hate
all
him
I
a
can
little
say
now.
is Mizkif makes better content. I'm sorry you got like a 70 million stake deal and no one could call you out on it. I fucking hate his fanbase too now.
Nice.
Then he shared his
Now.
private tweet.
Now, yeah, literally.
This guy is a fucking baby.
B tier?
He's a first grader, dude.
Like
He's literally a
5
first grader.
Different tiers, or like 6
Like, that's just
tiers,
literally some
whatever.
stuff that happened in
There's
first
5
grade for me.
tiers below him.
Like
What?
he is actually like a total fucking man child. Like nobody should
he
take
would
this guy
s- He would
seriously.
still be if he was like on F tier or whatever, he'd still be a man child for this reaction, but at least it would
then,
make
because
sense?
if XQC puts him on F tier, he's basically.
I still
saying,
wouldn't say it
"Fuck
makes
you,"
sense,
you know?
no.
So then Hasan's.
Well, yeah,
kind
an
of
F
allowed
tier-
to be
an
like,
F tier would
"Alright,
make
dude,
sense,
well,
but, like,
fuck it, you
a
wanna
C
go-
or
you wanna start
something?
drama, like let's talk some shit.
Yeah,
Then it'd be like, okay, fair enough. I mean, XQC's technically taking a shot at him.
Yeah.
Even if it's like goofy.
It's a big
whatever,
screw you.
You know, but like.
But if it's like
no.
a C or
XQC
something,
said his
still,
content
it's still.
was basically B tier, which is like all right. He said your content was all right,
It's
and he's
probably
actually
above
seething.
average.
And he's not even just hamming this up for content, obviously, because if he was, he'd be on a stream saying outrageous shit.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
he's in Discord and on private Twitter
Yeah.
accounts bitching, so
Like-
you know
Just
that
like
it
a woman
actually
can do
affected
I
him.
can use.
Like if he was making a
Okay.
bit out of it, kind of like I did with like commentary tier list or whatever, where he's like on stream, he's like, "Fuck XQC, putting me on B tier, fuck that motherfucker" or whatever,
Yeah.
just like joking around. That'd make sense. But here he's doing it in his like private Twitter, private Discords. Unironically hate him a little now. He's literally a grown man, baby.
He really is.
He's
This-
man.
he
It's
just
kind of
sucks.
funny. It's funny. I don't like hate Hasan. I just
I
think
do.
he's hilarious.
He's
So do
terrible.
I.
He's active. I hate him because he's like predatory to everything that I like about the internet. I don't know. It's just
And
like,
he's sensitive.
funny.
He's
It is. It's
an
great. I
idiot.
can laugh at people that I hate. Well, okay, let's define hate.
He makes
here,
Twitch
first of all.
look
When I say
bad.
hate, I mean in internet terms, I hate him. In real life, do I think that this guy is like a threat, like to my existence? No. It's just like on like dumb internet terms, I hate him. So let me just be clear there. But yeah, I mean, I do think that he's despicable and just he openly lies about people. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, he is predatory to people that don't fucking like him.
Yeah.
Obviously.
You're saying he does harm to other people as well as be like a goof, so like that's why you just like.
Well, he lies about people openly. Like, look at what he said about like JXE, for instance, back in January.
Oh
for an
yeah,
example,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just like, and I
Did I-
could name a lot of other examples and stuff, but he just.
sorry,
I
my
just think
my
that
my
maybe
Yeti
if
mic
he was,
has like a
less
sensitive
relevant
cord
than
on
he
it,
is, I
so
would think less of him because I just.
if I like
oh,
move my
it's just another
PC too
fucking-
much, or the
like,
wire
asshole
moves too
Twitch,
much.
I don't
Like my
fucking care.
mic
It's because he's at the top
disconnects.
that
So
he's just more despicable to me. I don't know.
I need to get a new mic, honestly. Cause
Anyway,
yeah, he
what's up,
uses like
Mickey?
these cheap kind of like PlayStation 3 kind of
What are you up to?
charger stuff.
What have you been up
Nice.
to?
We're shitting on Hasan. What do you think of Hasan, Ricky?
Yeah, what else is new?
What a fucking LA cunt, dude.
Ah, fuck that
Yeah,
guy. man.
literally.
I don't think I could say that on Twitch.
Oh, and
Watch
by
the language,
way,
guys.
Get a load of this, all right? So he's
Nah,
a
they don't-
total
I don't
hypocrite Too. Okay.
I kind of care if I get
Check out
banned
this,
now.
check out this clip
Kind
from,
of,
like,
'cause I-
2 years ago.
I got a lot of
Okay,
stuff on Twitch.
exposing him.
Like I
Listen
got
to
like
this,
12-month
alright?
subs going
hop
on
my live,
over
Ricky.
there, like on Quiet channel and everything.
Largest content creators on this platform, from XQC, maybe not Soda Poppin', but like XQC to like all these other people, Ludwig as well, who are pretty fucking sizable content creators on this platform.
Why call out
are
Ludwig?
themselves
What
going
does
to be
Ludwig
very
have to
sad
do with
about
this?
not being ranked higher in other people's streams.
What does
unlike the
Ludwig
rest of
have to
these
do
people,
with? Why bring
and
in
I
Ludwig?
legitimately am
He's trying to
telling
like
you
burn
this,
bridges where they
do
don't
not
need
give
to
a
be
fuck,
burned.
Because this is one
No, you
area
clearly
where I am
you
fully
clearly
secure.
care.
Oh.
I am a political Andy.
Jesus Christ.
Stop
the
saying that.
terminology. Jesus.
I am. He's saying that seriously. He's
Like
not
like
even,
it's like an
goofing around.
I am Iron Man.
He's saying I
Or
am.
I
at
am
the core,
Spider-Man.
Political
Yeah.
Andy.
Like he's some
How did this
hero,
Twitch
like some
culture even
superhero, or
fuck
like
off? This
he's
is
trying to
so
find out who
bad.
he's trying to find
I
himself
play
in
that
this
every
role,
day.
and that's who he is. He's a
Yeah.
political
Fully
Andy.
secure, by the way. Totally. He's just lying, by the way. When he's like, he's telling his audience like, this doesn't bother me, guys, by the way. And now I know, of course, he's just completely fucking. He's actually coping. Like this is a cope.
Came on to Twitch 2 years ago. I did not know what the fuck Twitch was. I did not ever participate in Twitch as a watcher. I still rarely ever participate on Twitch as a watcher. And now I have 12,000 people in here.
You don't belong here, bitch. Twitch is for people that love video games. Get the fuck out of
Literally.
here, political Andy. Like you don't belong here.
Why in the fuck
Twitch was for
would
the
I
boys.
ever be upset? I am
Twitch was for the fucking boys, not little fucking assholes like this.
Okay, so if he wasn't upset, why would he
Okay?
state? Why would he make a
This is
statement to
beyond-
a journal
beyond my
to a
own
journalist?
personal goals and comprehension to be able to have gotten to this point. Why the fuck? It's
Look
like
at him jerk himself off, you know?
Literally.
He's supposed to be impressed.
Doesn't he hate his life now?
Yeah.
it's like being upset
If I was him, I would.
because you stubbed your toe after fucking winning the lottery.
Yeah, well, you got upset. so-
I mean, yeah, he's right, but also he's talking about himself. So.
Oh my god. Hasan should go to DLive or Facebook Gaming. Good one. Like, as if that's some sort of punishment. Like, send him to DLive. Like, we're not deporting him, you fucking assholes. Like, why are you...
Reporting him for Twitch?
Yeah.
Go
Send,
back to your own
go
platform.
back to Facebook. It's like,
Go
alright.
back to fucking
That's how-
dang it.
Cozy TV.
No.
That's how streaming worked. You just got demoted for, like, poor behavior
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
shittier site.
Getting banned from its streaming platform is kind of getting deported to another one. Think
I
about it.
cannot wait until Hasan is an actual bona fide lolcow. He kind of did become, thank you by the way for the 5 psych draws and Idiot Online. He kind of did become a lolcow earlier this year. I hope that he continues to be one because I want to see Nick's video do really well when it comes out.
Oh, Nick's throwing a video on him?
So, you better keep the Hasan. That's why we cover him so much, alright? I'm doing it for Nick. Alright, I gotta keep the fucking topic alive. Let's hear Hasan's response.
Okay, so I need to
Good
move
one.
one over here.
Regardless.
The
Regardless.
And we're
music.
gonna crank this up a little bit.
This is a real drama, tier list drama. This is a real video. 32 minutes about a tier list?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
my
I skipped
God.
10 minutes of it, by the way, because the first 10 minutes is just him doing some unfunny bit where he's like, oh my god, guys, it's so serious. Just kidding, lol, it's not that serious. And then proceeds to talk about it seriously.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
Jesus.
It's been a while. It's been a long time. I feel
keep
like,
dying,
since, especially the second
dang.
like coming of Gamba that I just haven't been.
The second coming of Gamba.
Jesus, these
Why?
the Twitch terminology is so bad. And like people thought like the T channel terminology, calling it like Dramageddon was bad, but I think calling it the second coming of Gamba is worse. It's
It's like
definitely
every
worse.
time I think he's not gonna say something totally horrible, he just finds the second coming of
Literally.
Gamba. I want to say racial slurs. Like I was just, I don't know what to say in response to that, you know? Like,
Augie, I'm 25% Mexican and 85% black. I give you both the slurs for both those races.
Second coming of Gamba. And,
so there you go, Augie. And Boblex. And anyone friends with Augie by association.
Did just, like, come in here just to race him on Twitter and then dip?
Yep.
This motherfucker. Let me see. I didn't, though.
I haven't been as close with XQC, and I do think that part of it is literally because I think part of it is because like these dudes I don't think are all that nice. Trainwrecks is the same too. Like I criticize the Gamba shit,
this
but
mother
Train fucking does
flipper.
pot shots against me.
Get
all
it because we're in the
time.
ice.
XQC does it all the time.
Dang
Like,
it.
they totally fucking farm that shit. So if we're friends and if we're
wow, how horrible that XQC takes pot shots at you when you literally tried to like accuse him of selling like fucking crack to kids, basically. I mean that's what Hasan implies. Hasan implies that there's some great moral imperative with having a gambling sponsor, and I'm sorry, I know some people
I don't know anything about that,
don't
but
agree
you know,
with
no,
this.
I won't like say
I
won't
think
say
you're
that
retarded, respectfully. I just
like
think you guys are retarded.
you know,
Unless you're
I'll
consistent
confirm
with
that.
the
Although
stance
Aug is a
of what
very
you're
reliable
promote.
source,
Because I'm just gonna be honest with you guys.
and
right?
also I wouldn't really
Streamers
put it past
promote,
Hasan to say something like
sometimes
that.
explicitly and sometimes subconsciously, they promote a lot of shit that kids
Dang
shouldn't
it.
probably be doing. Even some down to like the simplest thing, like if a fucking 10-year-old is watching XQC play GTA 5, should that 10-year-old be playing GTA 5? Well, no. And I get everything's on a spectrum, all right? Playing a
I played
violent
Grand
video
Theft Auto
game
when I was, like,
versus promoting
7.
gambling or
Unironically.
smoking on stream are in two different categories of promoting bad shit to kids. I understand that, all right? I'm just saying, I think like all of it, as long as it's like not a scam, verifiably, is fine. Whatever. Like people are gonna promote what they're gonna fucking promote. Like I
You're
just
gonna
don't
get that bag.
I just don't see any point in
Valkyrie
just
Wave of Flex
arbitrarily,
stuff.
drawing like a moral like line in the sand that like gambling is like the problem here, when in reality like
God
a
dang
lot
it.
of addictive shit is given to kids. Even just selling video games that have in-app purchases to 15-year-olds, that could be way more harmful than gambling, because those
I gotta
kids
move my wire,
who
guys.
have
I gotta
access
check
to
the
their
audio
parents'
levels.
fucking credit cards and
good.
shit are gonna be like draining their fucking accounts of tens of thousands of dollars. You could say that's more dangerous to promote to kids than fucking gambling is. Who knows? Whatever, dude. People, parents are responsible for their fucking kids, okay? Parents
Literally.
are responsible. If you have a
It's
kid that gets
it's like that
addicted to
tweet
online
Ninja made where he was
gambling,
like, "It's not
there's,
my
like, so
job
many
to
problems there
teach
from the
your
start,
kids."
where
Like
your
that's literally
kid
true.
was sucked into this
That was one of the
thing,
things I
and it was
actually backed
completely
Ninja. I would,
outside of
well, I mean back then
regulation.
before I
You
was
had
like
no
into
idea
commentary,
until
and actually I did it.
your kids like losing.
That was
like,
one of the things I
tens of
backed
thousands
Ninja
of
on,
fucking,
was
like,
that
crypto
statement.
coin on
Kind
some
of.
gambling thing that they played.
Actually,
because they
when
saw
was that?
XQC
Was that
stream.
statement in 2020
like,
or was
kid
that?
doomed from the start. You
I think
know
the statement
why?
was in
Because he had
2020.
shitty fucking parents who didn't give a shit about him. Okay, that's why. So fuck these people that say like, you know, that draw this like objective moral, or draw this moral line in the sand saying you're not allowed to make money doing this. It almost sounds like he's jealous. I don't want to go there, but it almost sounds like that. But regardless, let's stick to what we know, okay? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, all right? Parents are in charge of their kids, okay? It's not my fault if I do a raid sponsor and your kid gets hooked on raid and starts buying all the fucking cosmetic items in the shop. What the fuck are you doing letting your kid have access to your iPad like that, draining your money?
Yeah.
Why would you ever give your kid a fucking device that has
anything
your
else?
credit card on it, where they don't even have to type in the password to use it? What? Really? And you want to cry to me about it? Get lost, dude. Fuck parents that don't give a shit about their kids, but then pretend to. You know when these shitty parents give a shit about their kids? When it's convenient for them, when they can throw other excuses for their shitty parenting, like, oh well, the video game streamer guy did it. You're retarded. Anyway,
Yeah, they can double it down.
that's just my thoughts on gambling.
I pretty much agree with everything you said.
Based.
Yeah, like why can't we like?
All right, but anyway, I think we get the
you
point
know,
here. I think that's really
sell
all we need
things
to
to
show.
adults online?
Hasan's being Hasan, getting mad. Oh wait, XQC responded. It looks like. All right, let's see XQC's response.
That I gotta turn this shit down from 1.5 because this motherfucker's gonna sound like an alien.
Actually probably ranked me a beerless streamer because I won't fucking have him on when a train political thing is happening. Okay. So I don't know why he's saying that. I think this is so disingenuous. Guys, has there been any time where I didn't ask him to be on, then I wasn't on? Any time that I asked him to be on?
Wait, he's literally
I'm gonna plug in my
saying
controller,
that
but
fucking
hopefully it
Hasan
doesn't
like
screw
bows
with-
down to the cloud, and like whenever fucking XQC asks, even though he hates him, he'll have him on for views.
Damn.
He's never denied his request to come on.
Nice.
End up being on, right? So nobody's trying to act like a villain, like he blocked me out when he didn't.
That's like if you made that tweet like, Keemstro's just mad, I won't have him on my stream, and you have like Keem on like every
Literally.
time.
Yeah.
Literally.
When I asked to be on, I was on. When I didn't ask, I was on. Is that bad? Any
Thank you for translating both. You guys are assholes.
time that so if anything, that makes it nice. I respect him for that, and I'm thankful for that. Anytime there's a trending topic or whatever the fuck, or so anything happening in the world, I asked and he put me in. That's good. I'm happy about that. But then he acts like he blocked me out. Like, yeah, man. Yeah, I think he's mad because I blocked him out. But that would make sense if he did block me out, but he didn't.
This is the video in question. You can go check it out. Base title: I made Hasan mauled. My tier list. Because
I made Hasan mauled.
No, it wasn't the tier list.
XQC title right
XQC is
there,
like, fuck you,
literally.
bitch. He didn't say that.
Dude, I'm glad we watched at least that part, because that extra juicy tidbit of
it just
like,
makes it better.
oh yeah, he's just mad that I don't have him on, and then like he always fucking bows down and has XQC on.
Yeah.
It just shows how like clout chasing and grifty he is, which we already knew, but
Shit on him. Yeah.
It highlights it. Alright. So our next topic, we're gonna be reacting to 2 videos by the same YouTuber named Moon. He's a great creator. I've watched a little bit of this one, but I haven't gone through it. I don't really honestly remember this one because I was working on a bunch of stuff when I tried to watch it. This one was a good video. So we're gonna be reacting to these 2 videos, and then it's about TikTok, and then I'm gonna watch this one. But real quick, I got to run to the restroom, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, everybody. Alright, so, yeah, like I said, the next video, the TikTok video, this one's shorter, it's like 18 minutes, and this one's way longer. So this is our longer topic for the night. But yeah, let's get into it.
TikTok is now the most used social media. TikTok is now the most used social media app by Generation Z, with TikTok having more engagement
Fact.
than YouTube and 1 billion active monthly users. It's very clear that if you've been paying attention, TikTok is now taking over the world. Everyone you know and probably yourself has the app on your phone right now, and yet countries around the world are starting to ban TikTok.
Literally,
The US
Augie has
military
one,
has
Team
banned the
has
app
one.
on all devices and the devices of their family members. And now, according to top politicians, researchers, and the CIA, TikTok now poses the greatest threat to national security security. But even darker is that just in the last few months, experts have now discovered that TikTok is creating a mental illness pipeline. A pipeline that almost no one knows about. It's barely been reported on, but it's a pipeline that is affecting all of us. In fact, this TikTok pipeline is becoming so damaging that President Joe Biden was forced to announce that TikTok is now, quote, a matter of genuine concern. But how on earth could a stupid lip-syncing app become a national
Let's just go into the
threat?
wall.
What makes this app so dangerous? Well, to understand this, we need to begin looking at the start of this pipeline. It all starts with the average TikToker waking
I'm just trying to chase after him.
TikTok and autopilot. Just a couple videos before he gets up, you think to yourself. But before you've gotten out of bed, you've been scrolling for 30 minutes and didn't even realize it. These short bursts of 30-second videos serve as noise, empty distractions that have already increased your dopamine tolerance. And this is how the TikTok mental illness pipeline begins. From the minute you wake up looking at your phone to the rest of the hours you spend on TikTok, you are constantly rewiring neural pathways that help manage your emotions, self-control, and information processing. Which is why if you have TikTok, it is destroying your attention span at a faster rate than any other social media app. A study from August 2021 found that TikTok destroys the part of your brain that inhibits self-control. But even worse, this happens to everyone. If you right now have even a limited exposure to TikTok, it only takes a few hours to make your brain addicted to the flow of videos that TikTok endlessly supplies. The same study found that this constant stream of videos damages your prefrontal cortex, and this damage is permanent, which is why it's now reported that we have the attention spans of goldfish. And when you have a low attention span, this also destroys your self-control. And studies show that when you have lower levels of self-control, it's very likely for you to become much more depressed. But you see, this is just the start of how damaging TikTok is. This is just a small taste of things to come.
I want to see that study. I'm kind of sus of that. I don't doubt it, but
I want
still.
to tell you about today's
It's always
sponsor,
good to do your own
Morning
research,
Brew.
you know?
Morning Brew is a free daily newsletter
Not a
delivered to you Monday
sponsorship.
to Sunday. They get
I'll
you
let
up
it
to speed on
slide this
business,
one
finance,
time.
and tech news in just 5 minutes. Before I subscribed to Morning Brew, I'd start my mornings aimlessly browsing YouTube and Twitter. But now with Morning Brew, I receive a summary of relevant news stories that are really informative. For example, I learned that American investors now have stakes in more than half of all Premier League football teams, with Chelsea FC now being the latest club to be gobbled up by investors, with Chelsea being bought out due to sanctions being placed on Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich. There's no reason not to subscribe to Morning Brew if you're interested in business, finance, or tech. It's completely free and takes less than 15 seconds to subscribe. So sign up for free by visiting morningbrewdaily.com/moon or by clicking the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Researchers are now understanding that there is a direct link between TikTok and the mental illness epidemic we are wallowing in. A much bigger correlation than any other social media app. But what's more pressing is that TikTok actively promotes this mental illness epidemic. The mental illness epidemic it's cultivating. You see, the culture of TikTok creates a perfect breeding ground for mental illness. And oftentimes, this is a classic problem with all social media.
I could see that actually, because like some of my friends, they have like TikTok obviously, and like they took this like quiz or whatever, and the quiz determined that they have anxiety or whatever, and that they're very stressed or depressed, right? So like that was generally the main ones that kind of got answered. Like some of my friends had anxiety, the others were classified as depressed. That's generally what the results were for that test for some of them, for all of them pretty much.
Dedicated to the promotion and self-diagnosis of mental illness. In fact, it's very likely that if you go on the TikTok
So I can kind of see that.
you'll often see the commodification of mental illness, something quirky and as a personality trait. Now obviously this is bad for those who actually suffer from mental illness, but this has gotten so bad that TikTokers are actively fabricating entire lists of symptoms, syndromes, and disorders, which in itself is creating this whole new phenomena. In 2021, roughly 13 teens were referred to the Rush Medical Center. These were mostly teenage girls, and they began to exhibit the abnormal involuntary actions of Tourette's syndrome, where they would have, quote, involuntary actions from jerking arm movements to curse words to head and neck twitches. They were also reported as
And dude, I was on TikTok today because I downloaded it. I downloaded it right to talk to one of my friends from like 4th grade. Literally, I saw a lot of things that I shouldn't
The same medical worker then found out that all these girls shared the same interest in
Like,
watching
TikTok is a
videos
sus
about
place now.
Tourette's, with
A
the
year
research
ago I
finding
had
that
it.
the top
Back
Tourette's
then it was
activist
like
on
pretty much
TikTok
Vine.
was a British woman who
But
shouted
now
beans
it's
frequently as part of her condition.
way
This
different,
TikTok
dude.
phenomena has weird parallels
Are you
to the
kidding me?
2001 anthrax attacks, where people who never contracted the disease developed similar symptoms after watching too many reports on anthrax. This weird TikTok mental illness phenomena was then further proven in later years. Researchers found that due to the isolation of lockdowns leading to increased screen time, huge swaths of teenagers developed mental illnesses, with many of these young TikTok users having TikTok-induced tics. But then when society went back to normal in 2022, this spike in Tourette's went down considerably. They discovered that people who watched TikTok videos on Tourette's would actually develop Tourette's just by watching these videos. And then later on in DSM-5 TikTok, the author found the promotion of mental disorders on TikTok took up front-page real estate on the app, with many of these influencers faking mental illness for clout. Like, for example, the TikToker called Tix and Roses. Tix and Roses claimed to have suffered from Tourette's by the age of 6, and by 2017, she had created a TikTok account to spread awareness for Tourette's and promote her business. It didn't take long for her to amass over 500,000 TikTok followers. However, suspicion was high from the moment that Tix and Roses gained any semblance of a following, because not all people with Tourette's present vocal tics. In fact, a vast majority of people with Tourette's don't have this symptom. However, if someone with Tourette's has tics, then there tends to be a few key characteristics that are mostly consistent with other sufferers of Tourette's. These are that the tics are semi-voluntary and can often result in injury. They are also random, though generally happen in batches or in groups. And lastly, they are commonplace. The urges are always present in day-to-day life, and suppressing the tics for extended periods of time is close to impossible. Of course, all these symptoms can vary, but there is a general pattern. However, Tix and Roses seem to defy lots of these rules. Her tics seem to conveniently be timed and had a regularity to them that was atypical to say the least. It all seemed staged, but this wasn't proof by itself. However, this was the first suspicion of many, which led people who investigated Tix and Roses down a dark path of deception and disgust. In hindsight, it was very clear that Tix and Roses videos were staged. The combination of how fake they look compared to actual Tourette's, as well as how Tix and Roses would smile into the camera and laugh at every other tic, made a convincing case by itself. Although all the lies unraveled when people started to investigate the other things that Tix and Roses had posted, what they found was shocking. Tix and Roses had numerous channels dedicated to topics other than Tourette's, and on these videos she would never tic at all. For example, she had a TikTok dedicated to crystal healing, where she displayed no visible tics whatsoever, but she did have an excuse. These were just short videos, so she could have suppressed her tics. But then, in an hour-long live stream, she went the entire duration reading poetry without exhibiting a single tic. This is impossible for anyone who actually suffers from Tourette's, and it was something she couldn't weasel out of easy, especially considering the symptoms she had shown off on her Tourette's account. As this evidence spread like wildfire, Tix and Roses tried one last trick. In a futile attempt to prove her critics wrong, she uploaded a letter from a doctor that seemed to prove she had Tourette's. However, the letter seemed off, in much the same way as her tics did. There were numerous mistakes. Some of her diagnoses were listed twice, all were left extremely broad, which no real doctor would do. But worst of all is, why did the doctor refer to her as a very pleasant 27-year-old left-handed lady? Even the logo at the top of the sheet looked fake. In fact, it matched the first Google image results, but didn't match the logo on official documents later uploaded by a Reddit user. With her web of lies falling apart and her videos being mobbed by people exposing her fraud, Tix and Roses vanished from the platform. And now Tix and Roses is just the tip of the iceberg here. The fact that faking a mental illness is any way desirable on the platform is the real problem with TikTok. You see, TikTok actively promotes these sorts of channels. And I mean, who knows at this point how many millions of young people have been exposed to content that celebrates and promotes mental illness. And then once these users are exposed to this sort of content, they are then caught in these algorithm loops that make the users mentally ill themselves. I mean, social media in general plays a huge role in developing one's identity and personality, but with TikTok, this process works in such a powerful way, where the app actively recommends these channels to exactly the kinds of people who will be most vulnerable to it. People suffering from Tourette's will see a lot of Tourette content. Depressed people will mostly be shown depressing content. People who are anxious are showed anxiety-inducing content. If the app thinks you're in the same demographic as people who engage with this content, then it will guide you towards it. But the worst thing is that through TikTok's insanely advanced AI algorithms and addictive user design, TikTok will trap you in these thought loops and you won't even be aware that you're in one. In one article by Sadie Lee, she describes her experience on TikTok, where she found herself in this addictive TikTok loop of people self-diagnosing OCD and autism. She described that once she was stuck in this loop of content, she and millions of others would engage with this community of self-diagnosing on TikTok. And this is where the TikTok pipeline takes a very sinister turn, because the true danger of this lies not only in its damage to the people who really suffer suffer from these conditions, but also to TikTok users' own self-development and future progress. Dr. Anthony Daniels highlighted this problem in his book Life at the Bottom, where he described the underdevelopment and poverty of the English underclass. He claimed that the cause of their suffering was due to their mindset and lack of personal responsibility, which was instilled by their family and culture, which is why he recounted that the English underclass weren't suffering from material poverty, but poverty of the soul. When working with these people, he described, quotes, "Day after day, I hear of the same violence, the same neglect, the same broken relationships, the same nihilism, the same dumb despair." He recounted that people suffering the most in English society usually happen due to destructive thought loops instilled in them by their culture, where they would adopt this mindset that negates all self-accountability and personal responsibility. For example, he saw this with alcoholics who would explain their misconduct while drunk, saying things like the beer made them mad, acting as if the beer drank the alcoholic. And this denial of agency and therefore the personal responsibility gives people excuses to damage their own progress. They can blame something else. They can blame the alcohol. The murderer can blame the knife. Or in the case of TikTok, the user can blame their self-diagnosis as an excuse for their self-gratification, pleasure-seeking, lazy attitude that stunts their emotional and personal development. And then mixed with the damage TikTok is doing to its users' brains, which is causing a lack of self-control through destroying your attention span, and it's very clear that TikTok is poisoning Generation Z, leaving millions in poverty of the soul, which is a very worrying fact considering that TikTok is the most used social media site of all time, and spending 80 minutes a day watching these videos, allowing TikTok to accrue over 1 billion users and being downloaded over 200 million times in the United States alone. And with TikTok's design making it very easy for almost anyone to go viral, TikTok is now fostering a whole new wave of clout chasing as well. Thanks to TikTok, young people are increasingly buying into the idea that narcissism, not fulfillment, not meaning, not authenticity, but narcissism is the ultimate measure of satisfaction. And is it really any wonder given the warped and corrosive view that's fed to Generation Z's by TikTok's algorithm? I mean, if you're not posting about mental illnesses and denying all personal agency, the other easiest way to go viral on TikTok is to dance provocatively, which is making TikTok a virtual meat market, all for the pleasure of horny teenage droogs and pedos. That's why if you go on TikTok, you'll be bombarded with endless insipid videos of girls shaking their ass to music. I mean, the majority of posts on the site look like underage girls either showing off their bodies or being explicitly sexual. That's why the Charlie D'Amelio's, the most followed people on TikTok having over 100 million followers, just shake their ass to earworm music, all for the creepy pleasure of horny men. And what's even worse is that most of these TikTok stars haven't even left school, but nonetheless, this is in turn incentivizing the girls watching to mimic that exact behavior, all for the chance of gaining more views and more
like I
likes.
said, TikTok used to be a great platform where you didn't just see this
TikTok videos,
you saw stuff like
capitalizing
memes,
OnlyFans
funny cat
success,
videos
where TikTokers lure
of cat
Sims
like
to their
pretending to
OnlyFans
sing.
pages, where these
It
horny
wasn't
Sims
just
will
like a
fork over
bunch
their
of girls
hard-earned cash
lip-syncing.
for a virtual girlfriend experience. Like OnlyFans user Gothegg, who described how she used her TikTok virality to make $200,000 a month on OnlyFans in just the space of 5 months. Other top OnlyFans creators have also spoken about how TikTok has enabled them to become these hyper-affluent online stars. And this phenomenon wouldn't be happening anywhere near as quickly if not for TikTok, where TikTok is catalyzing this wave of desperate Sims to hand over the money to these people who influence their everyday lives. And this trend became even darker when a Wall Street Journal investigation on TikTok found that when you said you were 13 years old and searched for OnlyFans on the app, the algorithm would bombard you with videos about adult entertainment and drugs. It's becoming very clear that TikTok is destroying Generation Z, and there's almost no way these young children can even defend themselves when they're up against some of the most advanced AI technology and sophisticated algorithms the world has ever seen. And TikTok doesn't just turn a blind eye either. These algorithms are designed to expose innocent minds to the most depraved things on the platform, and this is when the TikTok pipeline becomes very sinister. A recent study recently found that 16% of toddlers aged 3 to 4 are now on TikTok. The age restrictions on TikTok are so easy to fool that a toddler can do it, and they often do. And this number of toddlers on TikTok is only projected to grow, and these toddlers will be victims of all the things I've just spoken about. We have no idea the damage this will do to the younger generation. But let's not forget, TikTok is complicit in all of this. As these children grow up, they are going to be exposed to increasingly depraved content. Their culture, their personality and identity will be shaped by TikTok. These young, impressionable toddlers are being shaped by TikTok's algorithms, and only time will tell what effect this will have in the future. But one thing is for certain, TikTok is manipulating the minds of over 1 billion people. And the worst part is, TikTok's damage is very insidious. Almost no one knows about this. The research is only just beginning to appear. And if TikTok keeps growing and expanding as it is, we're only going to hear more and more of these terrifying tales in the near future. We have no idea the long-term damage this is doing, and yet the younger generations are being completely addicted to the app. I mean, how many of your friends and family are already addicted to the app? The worst part is that this pipeline is
mother
all deliberate.
addicted to
This is just
TikTok.
part of a plan. It's manufactured, which is why TikTok is considered the world's biggest cyber threat. This is the part that makes TikTok a matter of genuine concern and a threat to national security, because the people who control TikTok's algorithms are the people rewiring the brains of Generation Z. They are brainwashing the youngest among us, and they are doing this on the orders of the Chinese government. That's why the Chinese version of TikTok is the complete opposite of the West's. Instead, on the Chinese version of TikTok, all videos that are flagged as degenerate by the Chinese government are actively removed, and yet at the same time, the algorithm promotes videos of hardworking everyday people sharing their life and work accomplishments. And as you'd expect, these videos are generally wholesome, upbeat, and positive, with there being a literal section on the Chinese TikTok called Positive Energy to promote the Communist Party. But in the West, TikTok promotes the exact opposite. On our version of TikTok, we're bombarded with girls shaking their ass to musical earworms, where mental illness is glorified as a virtue. But then back in China, Xi Jinping's Rejuvenation of the Nation project is shielding the population from the damage TikTok does to the global population. And considering TikTok is run by ByteDance, a subsidiary of China's dictatorship, you start to realize why this app is a major cyber threat, not only for TikTok's creation of the mental illness pipeline, but also from the data TikTok is extracting from you in the process. TikTok collects biometric identifiers and biometric information. All your data, including face prints and voice prints, are being stored in the Chinese government's massive databases. As Human Rights Watch has warned in the past, the Chinese government has been collecting highly personal data for years, all in an effort to bolster its biometric database. And as the CCP gains more and more influence over the world, it's obvious to almost all world governments that TikTok is a Trojan horse. The billion TikTok users around the world provides the CCP an inconceivable amount of highly personal information, and TikTok collects way more information than any other social media site. It collects everything you do, all the websites you visit, all the apps you go on, how your voice sounds, your fingerprints, everything. And the only reason ByteDance is allowed to be a multi-billion company is because it does the work for the Chinese government. The corporation is, quote, launching a full front assault on China's market, according to the South China Morning Post, as it seeks to win top rank in the country's internet world. And ByteDance is doing this by hoovering up as many users and as much data as possible with its strong algorithms. And so China actively supports ByteDance. ByteDance's top board of directors
Here's the thing. I don't like to get political on this channel. I really don't care about politics. I'm 14. I can't even vote, so that's part of the reason why I don't really care. But you guys know SFCLive stands for Stories from Creators Live, and Stories from Creators was the very first ever YouTube show, my very first YouTube drama show, pretty much, ever, right? Now, my very first episode was actually about Donald Trump banning TikTok. That was literally, I kid you not, the very first episode I ever did about Stories from, with the Stories from Creators, name. And that episode has been private. I didn't delete it, but I downloaded it, put it on Mediafire with the date that it released. I think it released in August of last year. But this is the thing, right? Whether you like Trump or Biden, you gotta admit, at least like Trump was gonna ban TikTok because he saw it as a security threat. Right? And even Biden like today, he's like, he admitted, he reversed the order. So, but then he was like, oh, wait, shoot, TikTok is actually a security threat. So, and he's gonna get into that, too. The guy, Moon's he's gonna get into that topic. Again, I don't really care about politics. I don't like to get into politics, but I just wanted to, like, kind of point that out about how serious this is, that presidents, world leaders are worried about TikTok.
With Chinese officials. It is one of the most effective weapons in the global information war, as it allows the Chinese government to collect biometric data all across the world, from Ecuador, Ethiopia, and the United States. And if you're still not convinced by this, look at this report dubbed China Standards 2035, which looks at how artificial intelligence and big data is helping China become the dominant world force. China is leveraging their technology to take over the world. Given that almost none of the world have robust biometric privacy regulations, this data exploitation is a very serious issue. The only light at the end of this tunnel is that governments are waking up to this reality, either because of politics, data security reasons, the effects on mental health, or all the other reasons we've laid out. It is clear that there is a general pattern of governments banning TikTok. India, Indonesia, and Bangladesh have all banned the app, and the USA is very close to banning the app. In fact, it almost did ban the app under Trump's government, but Biden stepped in to pause this move. But even now, Biden is having to backtrack, saying, quote, TikTok is a matter of genuine concern. And so if corrupt governments can resist...
And this is the thing, right? When Trump said he was gonna ban TikTok, a bunch of teenagers obviously were mad. Every teenager, every Gen Zer, they were all mad. you know, they were getting VP. So what they did was they were going to get VPNs and they're going to download TikTok. So even if we ban TikTok in the United States, the teenagers are still going to find a way to get it because they can't live without it that much that they'll get a whole VPN and probably pay the like $11 or $9, $7 fee it is to get that VPN just to have TikTok back. So even then, we're still screwed unless it gets banned globally, except for China, obviously.
Resist the lure of TikTok's lobbyists, TikTok won't be allowed to keep ruining the future of the world. Hopefully it won't be too late before people wake up to the reality of the casualties of TikTok, but I worry that it's already too late. TikTok is a leash that's sucking away the energy and potential of the youth, so protect your mind and country and delete TikTok today.
Yeah, there it is. Alright, so the next video, close to this tab. The next video is a bit longer. I thought this video was time-stamped. Shoot. So yeah, we'll kind of skip around. Maybe, I don't know. We could go for the full video.
In 2018, an app called TikTok came from nowhere. Back then, TikTok seemed like just another mindless app for teens, where teens and creeps would lip-sync to insipid, droog-like songs. But in a matter of weeks, something changed. YouTubers, commentators, the media, TikTok became the new gold rush. To me, the app looked ugly, with a logo that didn't look quite right, but I didn't want to be out of touch. And me being curious, I eventually caved and downloaded it. And just like that, I was hooked. My mornings would be taken up by 30-second videos, my evenings stolen by a buffet of dopamine. I couldn't put it down, the endless scrolling, the constant dopamine hits, I had no control. I'd look around me, parties, gatherings, cafes, everyone was watching TikTok. I'd go online to find TikTok reaction videos on trending. I'd be bombarded by TikTok ads wherever I went. I'd walk around my city to see TikTok logos, graffiti, ads, TikTok dances everywhere. This was revolutionary. TikTok had achieved the impossible. TikTok had taken over the world. No one could escape its secret formula. Instant entertainment, constant dopamine, unlimited content, nothing could compete. TikTok was perfect.
Okay, this is wrong. I'm gonna close out of that.
Little did I know, we were walking into a buzzsaw. After hours of extensive research, I fell down a TikTok rabbit hole, and the further I went down this rabbit hole, the more horrifying things became. As what I'm telling you today has been ignored by almost all of the media, almost all of the influencers, and all of the corporate elite. And at the same time...
And another reason why I'm covering this now, because these videos came out like a couple of days ago, and this video right here came out like a couple of months ago. I think almost a whole year. The reason I'm covering this now is because BuzzFeed, to no shocker which shouldn't be no shocker to anyone, an article from BuzzFeed showed an investigation they did over there where 80 audio calls from China were leaked, that China got some actual like user data and are gonna like use that as a little Uno reverse card or whatever. So that's one of the reasons why I'm covering this now, to try to get an understanding of this a little more, because I'm 14, I'm gonna grow up in this world where technology takes over pretty much. So I want to know what I'm going to get into when I grow up.
Governments around the world are beginning to understand the true scope of what's going on. So let this video be a warning to everyone who's downloaded this insidious app. And join me as we cover the raw and unfiltered truth behind TikTok. A question. Do you never want to be bored again? Do you want fame, money, to not feel left out, for success to come sooner? This is how it begins. Through tapping into your innate biological desires, TikTok has been able to achieve 3 billion downloads. But behind our addiction to this app is something sinister. Because on the back of your constant scrolling and chasing of dopamine, someone has transformed a lip-syncing app for teens into the greatest cyber threat in human history. So the question is, who? Well, to answer this, we need to go back to 2012. Back in 2012, Vine was the closest thing you'd get to TikTok. And whilst Vine was kind of big, most people fawned for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because in this time, it seemed like Silicon Valley was on the verge of something great. Unprecedented societal change. We were so caught up with our own creations that we never gave China a second thought. But back in Beijing, something was bubbling under the surface. A creature called ByteDance. Now, ByteDance wasn't just any old tech startup. It was a startup directed by a man named Zhang Yiming, and it was also a startup that was littered with Chinese officials. Zhang's first move with ByteDance was to create a news platform called Headlines. But rather than this being any old news platform that pays for editors and reporters, ByteDance was putting their money into creating the most powerful advanced AI technology imaginable. An AI system more advanced than anything seen before it. This was no accident. In this time, the Chinese government had a strong desire to make AI a priority in the race for global tech dominance. But why was China so obsessed with AI? Why was the Chinese government so involved with working with this unknown tech company? To answer this, let's take a quick look at what ByteDance's AI technology was capable of. On this news site, there wouldn't be a curated feed or editors controlling the flow of information. Headlines instead used specially made AI algorithms to select and push the news robotically, with the company never having to hire a single reporter or editor. To test this highly developed AI system, ByteDance released the ad to the Chinese market. And almost immediately, the algorithm worked its magic. In a matter of months, Headlines became extremely popular in China, with the site gaining 10 million users in just 3 months. There was only one issue. All content that wasn't aligned with the government's core socialist values would be a legal offense, which meant there would have to be at least one editor. That's why ByteDance went so far as to publish a statement thanking the state for its supervision, making ByteDance the first ever AI-generated propaganda machine. It was the embryonic site for much darker things to come.
Darker fate to come.
It's 2016 and the Chinese government is inching towards technological dominance. But if they were going to overtake Silicon Valley, they would need to expand their AI technology across the globe. Because back in the mainland, AI proved to be an incredibly effective tool for controlling the population.
They're constantly monitored by facial recognition cameras that are able to instantly put a face to a name. Now, the Chinese are also ranked, given a mark out of a possible 950 points.
I think being ranked is a good thing. A society has to have rules. It forces us to be well behaved.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
There's a simple reason for this. By using algorithms, the
Listen
Chinese...
to that line, that last line she said.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
Look at that, bro. I mean, I like I said, I've kind of like I've paid attention to like parts of this video, but I haven't seen the full video completely and paid attention completely. So this is me trying to pay attention to it and see what shady stuff TikTok gets up to. But listen to that line. Anyway, we don't have a choice either way. Like, this is the world we're probably gonna end up living in. A world with no choice, and kind of the internet's already pretty much going down that alley.
There's a simple reason for this. By using algorithms, the Chinese government can connect all these data points from everything you do, using your travel records, friends, acquaintances, reading habits, and purchases, all to anticipate any political resistance. It's through these sorts of social credit scores and advanced AI technology that the Chinese government has gained a firm grip over 1.3 billion people. But what if China could use such technology outside of its own borders? What if China could move away from surveilling their own country to surveilling the globe? If they could, China would become invincible. It was in this time that the Chinese president Xi Jinping was making big efforts to grow China's cultural power, which is why Xi Jinping announced that China needs to increase its soft power to give the world a good Chinese narrative and better communicate China's messages to the world.
We have made significant advances on theoretical and cultural fronts.
Xi Jinping announced that, quote, "We should increase China's soft power, give a good Chinese narrative, and better communicate China's messages to the world." And this is where America's had the upper hand for decades. Through America's spread of culture and ideology, America has been able to maintain its global influence. And in recent years, this has been catalyzed by one thing: Silicon Valley. So how could Chinese tech companies possibly compete with Silicon Valley, where a tiny group of billion-dollar companies have almost monopolized the entire industry? If ByteDance were going to have any chance of competing, they would first need to create something groundbreaking, something so advanced, so popular, so addictive, that people would have no choice but to download it, an app to control the hearts and minds of the global population. To take on such an enormous task, China would need to take this one step at a time. The first step was for Chinese tech companies like ByteDance and Tencent to start buying huge shares in social media sites. sites like Reddit, Discord, and Snapchat, because this allowed companies like ByteDance to have a key role in company policy as a majority shareholder. But of course, buying shares in companies wasn't going to be enough. How could China create an app so addicting that it would outcompete every single social media site? To figure this out, they needed to test this technology in their own back door. So ByteDance's new venture would be with an app called Douyin, or in other words, the Chinese version of TikTok. ByteDance tested out Douyin to make sure the technology would be effective enough, and in less than a year, Douyin took over China, gaining enormous popularity, with 1 in 10 Chinese people having downloaded the app in less than a year. All because of this specially developed AI
I feel like
technology,
that 1 in 10
it was now time for
significantly
ByteDance to go global. The next step for ByteDance was a sophisticated marketing campaign, spending $3 million a day in marketing alone just in the American market. ByteDance would then get celebrities to join in. It would saturate the media and advertising world. You'd even see the NBA signing a multi-year partnership with TikTok. And with the TikTok logo being stamped on every exported video, you'd then see this marketing begin to snowball. You'd see all these influencers on YouTube Shorts and Instagram posting their TikTok videos. You'd see celebrities promoting their garbage on TikTok. But marketing alone wasn't enough. So the next step for TikTok's growth was through the acquisition process. In this time, ByteDance noticed that fellow Chinese company Musical.ly was getting a foothold in the psyche of
This is the thing. I remember Musical.ly. I used to have an account, but I think I only posted one video. So hang on, I still have the email because I looked through my email the other day, and I looked at like what I had as like saved or important or whatever. Or no, it was in my drafts, and it was like to share it. So let me make sure. Okay, yeah, I could share it. So here is the email that I have saved that I found a little while back. It says April 1st, 2017 was when this draft was created. It says, check out this Musical.ly made by RJY 2017 with Musical.ly app, and then here's the link, and then this looks like a download to probably the video itself. It's probably cringe considering it's 2017. That was something. Oh, this is like one of my first series I ever did. Yeah, it's something way different. But yeah, I remember ByteDance because I remember my cousins told me all about it. The cousins were like, "Hey, Robert, everyone's using this app. You should get on this app. We can message each other too on this app." And I was like, "Okay, fine, cool." So yeah, I actually remember music.
So rather than these companies trying to outcompete each other for ultimately the same goal, TikTok bought up Musical.ly for $900 million. This allowed TikTok to utilize Musical.ly's core selling point, the ability to go viral. Musical.ly provided a platform with an algorithm that rewards content above all else. Anyone could post some content and go viral the next day. Because of that, Gen Z rushed to it, allured by the prospects of fame, attention, and quick dopamine hits, using its AI technology to learn how to create the most addictive user interface possible.
Yeah, let me make sure my audio levels are still good. Alright, good.
There are several core psychological techniques used to addict you. The first is short videos in and of themselves.
Short. There may be 15 seconds or something like that. 15, 20 seconds. They're short videos. And so it's just that quick, it's almost like a little tasting menu of fabulous. You're trying this and trying that.
The reason for TikTok's initial success is that they took the knowledge companies learned from making catchy advertisements. Advertisers spend millions gathering your attention for up to 30 seconds. And oftentimes, whether you like the advert or not, you'll find they're easily digestible. So TikTok would use this video design, but instead of paying millions to make these videos, TikTok's own users would automatically use all their creativity and talent to garner some hint of virality. Then the most addicting videos made are rewarded favorites.
See, like stuff like that was like used to be on TikTok. I mean, I'm sure Zach King is probably still on TikTok, but stuff like that, stuff that was impressive, stuff that was cool. There was like heart to TikToks. Now and I kid you not, now what TikTok is, because I installed it to talk to a friend the other day. Now all that TikTok is a bunch of girls shaking their butts and right in front of the camera.
favorably for doing so. Once
like,
people catch on to
nearly
which
get into a
engagement
nips.
tactics work, these videos are then copied over and over again. The most catchy songs are replicated over and over, creating the cycle of people who are addicted to chasing virality. These creators then feed the masses' own addiction to these dopamine-sucking videos. But of course, not all of these videos can be addictive, and that's the point, because one of the key social engineering tactics TikTok uses
Hang on, I gotta
is
show you
called
guys this too,
intermittent
but I'm gonna get, like,
reinforcement.
a screenshot
I spoke about
that
this
doesn't, like,
tactic in my
dox
previous
my
video on
friends.
TikTok, but basically intermittent reinforcement is the reason why casinos are so addictive, because by not winning every time on the slot machine, you're always excited for the next hit. I mentioned in this last video on TikTok that when you expect a reward after a certain action, you tend to work less for it. Yet when the timing of the reward or the certainty we'll get it at all is unpredictable, we tend to repeat that behavior with even more enthusiasm. And so in the case of TikTok, a video has to capture users' attention very quickly to cause them to watch the whole thing. If the video doesn't catch your attention within a couple of seconds, it's swiping onto the next one. And so after countless videos fail to give you that dopamine rush, you'll finally find that gem.
The fact that you're watching this video means you are energetically aligned with me and aquafarians, but you may know them as mermaids.
And there are real consequences to this. TikTok's design is neurologically damaging. Researchers are only just beginning to understand this. Since Generation Z's infatuation...
Okay, so here's what I want to show you. I just uploaded it to Mediafire, and... Hang on, because I just moved the cord. Alright, good. I just uploaded it to Mediafire. Here's the screenshot. So I did this vote on my Instagram. I said, how accurate is your TikTok For You page? Which is kind of like the page people use all the time. I also said my new wallpaper. So 20% said less than 50. I spelled less than wrong. 50 to 70. 27% said that, and 27% also said 80 to 100, and 27% also said 100. Now I'm not gonna show this because this will show the accounts, the Instagram accounts to my friends, and I want to dox them. But I have it pulled up right here on my phone. 3 people voted less than 50. 4 people voted 50 to 100. 4 people voted 80 to 100. And 4 people voted 100. That was very interesting to me on how like close these votes were. That was very interesting to me. And unironically, there were videos that are like, "Hey guys, have you like noticed my TikTok For You page has been like way too accurate lately? Like literally, it's like it's reading my mind. It's like, gee, I wonder why. Have you searched something that's on your mind?"
With TikTok, our attention spans have dropped to the lowest levels in recorded history, with our attention spans becoming reduced to that of a goldfish. And it doesn't even stop there.
The vertical scroll, which is what you have on Facebook, for example, you're scrolling up on the news feed. But what this does is if you stop on a video and you like that video, now it'll restart that video. So in a sense, you've got a horizontal scroll going on pleasurable content, and you also have a vertical scroll going.
And once
this is the thing, TikTok has like the best algorithm ever. Literally the best algorithm ever. Like that thing works fast. YouTube's algorithm works fast too. Twitch doesn't really have an algorithm that's like decent, but the algorithm on TikTok works fast. Like that is probably the best algorithm code that they have that exists out there for any social media platform.
Once the pleasure begins to dry up, you continue scrolling and the pattern repeats itself, leaving you wondering where the last few hours went. And even the small stuff like where the likes and comments icons are is purposely designed so that you can't stop wasting your time on this mindless app. And when you go onto TikTok, you'll see what I mean. The likes, comments, share, and profile buttons are on top of each other. This placement makes it the most accessible for users to click on these icons. But why is this important? Well, this layout may only be saving the user microseconds of their time, but in an app that runs on quick spurts of attention, these fractions of a second hold significant weight. When you're browsing social media on your phone, the screen you're using is very small. As a result, every little inch of that screen is immensely important, since any little distraction or element that takes away from the content at hand has the potential to drive the user away. Wasting screen space is the cardinal sin when it comes to keeping users in that entertainment high. And so with this combination of musically and addictive user design and attention-sucking short videos, TikTok has been able to feast on a generation's goldfish attention span, allowing TikTok to take over the world. Because in just 3 months after its launch, TikTok gained 30 million users. But the real question is, how could ByteDance justify spending almost $1 billion on an app that only sells ads and emojis? I mean, TikTok wants you to think that hosting a few ads and selling emojis is enough to become a multi-billion company, but to anyone looking under the surface, you realize this is far from the truth. To understand where the real money is, we first need to understand the secrets behind the TikTok formula. If China wanted TikTok to take over the globe, TikTok would need to tap into the human mind. Not only through social engineering tactics, but also through their users' data. Because this is where the real money behind TikTok lies. This is why TikTok is now considered a cyber threat. And once again, it all comes back to the TikTok algorithm. Unlike Facebook, Netflix, Spotify, and YouTube, TikTok's algorithm goes one step further.
Okay, has anyone else noticed that your For You page has been a little too accurate
That's where I found
lately?
the video.
It hasn't been
Saw
things
that
that I'll
video.
Google or I talk about. It's been thoughts.
TikTok knows
See?
everything about us.
But how
See?
does TikTok know which
This-
videos
that's where I
will
found the
addict
video.
you?
It was when I was
Well,
paying
this
attention
all
to
starts
that
to become clear as soon as you begin reading TikTok's privacy page. A privacy page that literally admits to collecting as much data from you as possible.
And what kind of data is TikTok collecting as it runs on our phones? A heck of a lot more than you would think. Images, of course, that users post. But TikTok also collects information about the messages that you send, about the apps that you use, the other apps on your phone. It collects the sites that you visit. It collects your search history. It collects your keystrokes. It collects your location data.
That's scary, dude. Like, what do you think they're gonna do with that? My personal guess would be like they were making AI generated version of us, but like, you know how like Jurassic World, the like Fallen Kingdom, like the whole point they wanted to like save the dinosaurs to just sell them off, and then they were like wanted to create this Indoraptor dinosaur that like just followed commands and stuff. Like, what if they're doing that? What if China's doing that? Like, they're collecting our data to like get a sense of, you know, how the next generation's gonna think and how the next generation kind of is, to see like if they're a threat or not, and then they're gonna use that same data to make an AI generated person of us or an AI generated robot of us, and then take out all the bad of us, all the imperfections in us, and then make us just pretty much their soldiers, like artificial intelligence soldiers. I don't know. It's just, you could call that conspiracy, which I mean kind of is, but I mean it feels like we're getting to that point, honestly, to me. It feels like we're honestly getting to that point. Real quick, guys, I'm gonna run to the restroom again. I had a lot of soda, so alright, I have a mute button on my mic. Alright guys, I'm back. Let's continue this video.
It stores all of this and maybe lots more.
And so using all of this data, TikTok understands you better than you understand yourself. It predicts your future behavior. It learns at every second what you want and what you will do. And no, this isn't like Google or Facebook stealing your data and selling off to advertisers. This information is being used to tap into your biological hardwiring and most importantly, to fund China's openly stated goal of world domination. Now this may sound a little extreme, it may sound exaggerated, but I promise you it's anything but. Chinese President Xi Jinping has a dream, a Chinese dream of global dominance.
No force can shake the status of our great motherland. And no force can stop the progress of the Chinese people and the Chinese nation.
With this has come some new laws that coincide directly with TikTok. Since China adopted the National Intelligence Law in 2017, all Chinese citizens and companies have been under a legal obligation to help the government gather intelligence, whilst also keeping any cooperation with the government a secret.
And we also know that under Chinese law, TikTok, ByteDance, the parent, is required to share data with the Chinese Communist Party. Required to under Chinese law. That's not a matter of speculation. That's in the law. And it is required under Chinese law to share user data with Beijing. And TikTok has admitted that it has sent user data to China.
And so with TikTok collecting so much user data, the fact that TikTok is half run by the Chinese government, and now with the passing of this new law, TikTok is beyond problematic. Which is why several countries have been quick to ban TikTok.
What if they're like pulling here's another movie reference, with a more known movie. What if they're like pulling a like Captain America Winter Soldier move, like where, you know, the S.H.I.E.L.D. made those, sorry, I'm a huge movie nerd if you can't tell. S.H.I.E.L.D. made those huge helicarriers, but they also were able to predict people's futures by using their past, like their credit card statements, their exam scores and everything, and they used their past to predict their future, so that way they could kill them off if they were going to be a threat to them. Like, what if they're pulling stuff like that? I mean, obviously not killing them off, but like just like learning, using people's past to tell their future, so that way China sees who's going to be a major threat and who's not.
Along with 223 other Chinese applications, were banned by India.
I know, again, Indian government I'm kind of going on a conspiracy trail, but again, I kind of feel like we're getting to that point.
Now, the list includes the messaging
where that stuff is in the realm of possibility.
Popular video platform TikTok.
The Indian government claimed this was because they were damaging to India's sovereignty, integrity, defense, security, and public order. And this is why Trump signed an order to ban TikTok. In the order, Trump said that there is credible evidence that leads him to believe that ByteDance might take action that threatens to impair the national security of the United States. But with America's heated politics, Joe Biden could let Trump have this legal victory and revoke Trump's ban on TikTok. Although it wouldn't take long for Biden to realize this was a huge mistake. He literally had to admit later on that TikTok is, quote, a matter of genuine concern. In addition to this...
And so this is the thing, right? Again, I don't care about politics. I'm 14. I can't vote. You have to be 18 to vote. I still don't think I'll be able to vote in 2024. So, actually, I will be able to. No, I won't, actually. Never mind. So, math is hard for me sometimes. But this is the thing, right? Whether you like Trump or Biden, you gotta admit for at least Trump, like, at least he saw TikTok as a threat and banned it. But, you know, unfortunately, Biden reversed the ban, so...
There's militaries around the world have banned TikTok on
I don't really care.
Devices.
I don't care about
this subject.
I don't care about who gets
Pentagon,
elected. I just care if they're going to be a good president.
The Department of Homeland Security and the TSA have all banned their employees and service members from using TikTok on government devices. In fact, the Pentagon even went so far as to say that employees should have their children uninstall TikTok from their personal devices.
But you may be asking, why does this matter? Why is TikTok labeled a national security threat? Why are governments around the world beginning to think that TikTok is the biggest cyber threat of the modern era? Well, stick with me here, because we're going to need to radically change the way you've been seeing TikTok.
The day is coming when the politicians realize that these social media
platforms are picking the next president, the next congressman. They're literally picking.
This is where true power in the modern day lies.
Like Zolo's algorithm in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Literally, that's what it did. It predicted the people's past. It used the people's past to shape their futures. Essentially, that's exactly what the whole movie was about, and that's exactly what Captain America wants to stop. Was Zolo's algorithm from doing that kind of stuff.
Because the people who control the algorithms are the people rewiring your brain. They are controlling the spread of information, they program the culture, and with TikTok now being the most downloaded app for several consecutive years, the results are becoming apparent.
I'm vaccinated, caffeinated, and freshly masturbated.
On the Chinese version of TikTok, all videos seen as degenerate by the Chinese government are actively removed, and yet at the same time, the algorithm promotes videos of hardworking, everyday people sharing their life and work accomplishments. As you could expect, these videos are generally wholesome,
Alright, sorry, I was closing my mind.
and positive, with there being a literal section on the Chinese TikTok called Positive Energy to promote the Communist Party. But in the West, TikTok promotes the exact opposite. On our version of TikTok, we're bombarded with endless insipid videos of girls shaking their ass to music, where we become obedient, placid consumers slumped open in front of screens. And this trend couldn't be better summed up with the rise of OnlyFans. In recent years, the rise of OnlyFans has been catalyzed by the wave of TikTok videos of OnlyFans models alluring desperate, atomized, lonely simps to fork over the hard-earned cash for a virtual girlfriend experience. Top OnlyFans creators have spoken out about how TikTok has enabled them to become these hyper-affluent online stars.
So today we are going to be going over how you can use TikTok to get OnlyFans subs, okay?
I think we're all like the main people on OnlyFans are roughly earning the same, I think. At the moment it's like $1 million a month.
This phenomenon wouldn't be happening anywhere near as quickly if not for TikTok, where TikTok is catalyzing this wave of desperate simps to hand over the money to these people who influence their everyday lives. And this became very apparent when a Wall Street Journal investigation on TikTok found that when you said you were 13 years old and searched for OnlyFans on the app, the algorithm would bombard you with videos about adult entertainment and drugs. The power TikTok yields over the younger generations is becoming more and more apparent. People are starting to see that through TikTok's AI technology and sophisticated algorithms, TikTok is able to create trends that radically influence the lives of so many in Generation Z. And what's scary is that so many of TikTok's core audience are barely even adults. TikTok users are being influenced into emulating these trends that are highly toxic and polluting to society. But of course, these trends are manifesting things far worse than degenerate behavior. The spread of political disinformation and infiltration of Chinese propaganda is now a serious concern to all of us. This first became apparent in the Western version of TikTok when pro-Hong Kong posts, anti-CCP posts, pro-Tibet content, and anything spreading awareness of the persecution of Uyghur Muslims was all removed. And this concern takes a further serious turn in light of recent reports that Zenu Data, which has reported links to the Chinese military and intelligence networks, has collected personal details of about 2.4 million people outside of China, with pretty much all of this data being sourced from TikTok. The former editor of the Hong Kong Economic Journal wrote in a column that TikTok is reaching deep into offices and homes, shaping how Americans understand real-world events. He went on to explain that while China's move to establish physical footholds around the world was easy enough to recognize, China's quote soft power ambitions have been much less noticed until recently, where China is using highly developed AI technology and powerful algorithms to erode free speech and Western culture. It's for this reason why ByteDance has pledged to hire 10,000 sensors to identify and block anti-government content. Now, I already know that some of you will think I'm fear-mongering, but when you look into China's history and current political motives, you start to realize how daunting the situation truly is.
China is also notorious for using its big tech companies to track and predict the behavior of its own citizens, as seen in this 60 Minutes report
Predict
from
their
last
behavior.
year. China's stated goal is to become the world leader in artificial intelligence by 2030. Senator Hawley fears China is doing the same thing here. Just last February, the Department of Justice charged 4 Chinese military hackers with stealing records from the credit reporting agency Equifax, affecting 145 million Americans, almost half the country. China has been caught hacking the second largest American health insurer, the agency that stores information about all government employees, even records from the Marriott hotel chain. Hawley says TikTok is just the friendly...
See, they store records from hotels, medical centers, banks. They're trying to take people's past use it to shape the future. it's not out of a realm of possibility, in my opinion.
Face of Chinese data harvesting. So what would the Chinese Communist Party do with all this information?
Build dossiers, build files on every American who they can get their hands on. We could ask the same question about the Equifax breach. Why would the Chinese government be interested in the financial history of hundreds of millions of Americans? What are they going to do with that? Well, clearly, they thought it was very, very useful.
But when you look at
they're going to use people's past to shape their
futures, it all begins to make sense. During the Communist Revolution, Mao became infamous for conquering
literally
the
Captain America
to capture the city.
Literally the plot of Captain America Winter Soldier. That's literally the plot of Captain America the Winter Soldier. Zolo used his Zolo algorithm and took emails, bank accounts, medical stuff, your SAT scores, and he used their past to shape their future. That was literally the entire plot of Captain America's Winter Soldier. I keep saying Civil War.
This method was used not only for Mao's communist revolution, but also for Mao's dream of world domination, where the world's most developed countries were seen as the cities and the world's less developed countries were the countryside. This is why in recent years, China has gained a strong foothold across Africa and the Middle East, and now the next frontier is to gain a strong foothold in the global culture. Because if you can control the culture, you control the population. And as Xi Jinping declared, it is time to, quote, dare to draw the shining sword. So while the West becomes addicted to TikTok, where the West has their attention spans reduced to that of a goldfish, where people can't go 5 minutes without checking their phone absorbed by TikTok degeneracy, where we are having our brains literally rewired, China is now training their youth to prepare for war.
Chinese people will never allow any foreign forces to bully, oppress, or anyone who dares to try to do that will have their heads bashed. Bloody against the Great Wall of Steel forged by over
today, this process is
millions
being
of years
catalyzed by Xi Jinping's Rejuvenation of the Nation project, which entails the banning of effeminate sissy men on TV, banning excessive video game usage, teaching children Xi Jinping's school of thought, teaching children how to use military equipment, and having schools have distinct masculine and feminine school curriculums. And today, it is now mandatory for Chinese students to read The Art of War. And as you'd expect, this has come with rampant military propaganda.
Obviously, they're not reading it for the same reasons that we read it in high school. At least I've heard. I'm not in high school. I'm going to 8th grade. Peace behind me, war in front. Put on military uniform. We must give up in ease.
So while the West is swamped by visual diarrhea of grotesque TikTok videos promoting crime, degeneracy, OnlyFans, and the CCP, the Chinese are trained to become stoic with a warlike spirit inoculated to degeneracy.
They're literally look, TikTok is literally China and TikTok are literally trying to make us weak. They're literally trying to make us have short attention spans and make us just some lazy bums. We're gonna grow up, probably be homeless, and not really have a job, not really want to do anything, not pay attention. If we do get a job, we're not really gonna pay attention and the orientation because of how short our attention spans are. Meanwhile, the Chinese government is training their youth to become full-on, super soldiers. Literally become Captain Americas, like mini Captain Americas. Obviously, not gonna be as strong as him.
Stark contrast between the Chinese version of TikTok and ours serves to highlight how effective TikTok's AI technology is in manipulating the masses. Psychological weapons like TikTok.
Also, I know I sound spurgy about this topic, but it's just because I'm kind of really, if you can't tell, obviously you can, but I'm very animated about this topic because it's like, I'm 14, I can't stress this enough, but I'm 14, I'm gonna grow up in this world that could potentially happen. So, yeah, that's why I'm very animated about this.
Have been used throughout history, from the Persians using cats as a psychological tactic against the ancient Egyptians, to Alexander the Great enforcing Greek culture against his opponents, to the British and using their global media networks to control the narrative of World War I. These psychological experiments have always been hidden away and more often than not, slip by under the public's noses. But now in our current Cold War, these tactics have become more and more advanced. And right now, the most dangerous psychological weapon...
Yeah, here's the thing, right, that I wanted to bring up earlier, but I didn't. Here's the thing, so you may be wondering, how can they elect our next president? Through TikTok. Like, they just showed how Britain controlled the narrative for World War I or II or whatever he said. They controlled the narrative for the American Revolution. For the American Revolution, you think the books and the newspapers in England were the same as the ones that were in America? You think that the British over there in England were reading the newspapers and it said, "Oh, England did taxation without representation. They got rid of that. Hiring, they're making taxes more. What else? Someone shot a British soldier. Like all this other. Sorry, it's been a while since I've studied the American Revolution, so my memory's a little off on it. But you think Britain really controlled? You think Britain really let those American articles go all the way back to England for everyone there to read and not be on Britain's side? Because if anything, if I was a country, obviously, if anything, I would not let those go into my country, and I would put in positive articles that make me look like the good guy, and to help convince people in England to move over to America and fight for the crown. Obviously, obviously Britain has changed these books now, and information is more widely available to people, but
Just saying. Is TikTok. According to US military analysts, attacking the enemy's psyche is a key part of China's military strategy. The Chinese stratagems established by Sun Tzu in The Art of War was the foundation for this form of warfare, so it shouldn't be any surprise why The Art of War is mandatory reading. But then this all begs the question, why is China going to all of this effort? All the government employees, all the high-tech algorithms, all the social engineering, all the spying. Why is China so desperate to influence Western culture? Well, like all psychological weapons, there's only one reason for their usage: to destroy the enemy. Before I began making this video, TikTok's growth was never obvious. TikTok seemed like an anomaly, because somehow, in just a matter of months, I went from never knowing TikTok to seeing my friends, family, and self all become enveloped by its algorithm. Back then, we were in blissful ignorance to a force that has been brewing for decades, a brew now reaching its boiling point. Since the Cold War, the idea of World War III was always thrown around. Throughout this time, civil wars, skirmishes, propaganda all created the sense of uncertainty, but this feeling was never existential. Our enemies were always the underdogs. They were poorer with lower grade equipment, they had no influence on mainstream culture, they were just this hidden, mysterious force, far from the clutches of regular life. And when this tense time finally came to a close in 1991, people felt liberated. Like the threat of World War III was really just a fantasy after all. It was something to talk about for fun, but never an idea to be taken too seriously. Yes, there were threats from the Middle East, Russia, and North Korea, but it was never anything we couldn't handle. At the same time, we fueled China's growth. We bought their cheap products, their materials, and their lies. In just a matter of decades, China went from being...
Yeah, that's also another thing. I love it when people bring up oh, why are you buying from Apple or Nike? Or no, it's oh, Nike and Apple, all their stuff is made in China. They use little kid slaves to make the product you're holding in your hand. And it's yeah, that's probably true. However, you're buying from them still. That's the kind of stuff that makes me kind of mad. It's oh, they're child slaves. This is terrible and everything. And it's okay, yeah, but you're buying from them. So if you're hardly against that, which again, I'm not for slavery, obviously. I don't support slavery, but I'm not gonna sit here and not say I don't have an iPhone and an iPad sitting right next to me. But I don't support slavery, obviously, but there's I hate it when people are like that, when they're oh, they're child slaves, obviously. There's child slaves, Apple uses child slaves, or Twitter uses child slaves, or all that stuff, and then it's but you're buying from them. So you can't care that much, dude.
Being a third world country with a GDP of 90 billion to having a GDP of $12 trillion, a number now fast overtaking the United States. This growth has never been seen before in history. Admittedly, we knew this was coming, but none of us had any real reason to be concerned. At least, we didn't think there was. China's just that place we make our iPhones, we told ourselves. So over the years, we shipped off our entire economy to China. Banking moguls on Wall Street propped up the Chinese economy with billions in investments. Elected officials in the UK did their part by selling out the country's core infrastructure and national energy grid to China. Talking heads in Washington did their part by telling the public that the real threat to the West was Putin and his army of Macedonian troll farms. And thus, we bought into China's surveillance technology and downloaded TikTok en masse. Because we were in our own little bubble, our main concern was celebrities.
Blam.
Crap.
Political scandals.
Orange man bad.
Orange man bad.
Orange man.
Orange man.
Literally. Literally. And then like
pursuits.
all that like Twitter is just like Biden.
But like any
Biden
bubble,
bad,
there was
Biden
always
bad.
a burst. And our burst came in
Like,
2020.
literally, that's true.
From the very beginning, it was never about TikTok. TikTok is just a means to an end, a tool in an operation. All the TikTok dances, TikTok ads, all the lip syncing, it was a facade for something sinister, something greater, something known as the 2049 plan. Now, what does this entail? Well, as you can imagine, it's not something to be taken lightheartedly. China's push for world domination has been government policy for the last 50 years and is embodied within the Chinese spirit. For decades now, China has manipulated us into believing that China was just another capitalist state, dissolving its ideological ties to Marxism. But this couldn't be any further from the truth. China's intent has been to acquire as much money, physical power, and technological control as possible. And China has gained the money, China has gained the physical power, and now China is controlling technology. And so it's no coincidence that just in line with the 2049 plan, TikTok suddenly took over the psyche of millennials and Generation Z. And that's the genius behind all of this. China is engaging in a war and we didn't even realize we were a part of it. China is taking over the world economically. China is taking over the world militarily, secretly building up its army reserve.
Top U.S. military officer General Mark Milley provided the first official U.S. confirmation of what he called a, quote, very concerning Chinese hypersonic weapons test that military experts say appears to show Beijing's pursuit of an Earth-orbiting system designed to evade
China will run the world by 2050. Mark my words, China will rule the world by 2050. Your mayor in your town, in your state, your governor, all will be elected through China. Watch. Mark my words.
American missile defenses.
China's now got the largest navy and is training its youth to become more like robots.
That's the thing, by the way, right? So you may be wondering, well, how's that gonna happen? They're gonna feed you videos to show you why you should support that candidate that they want you to vote for. Like, mark my words, they're gonna feed you those videos to your TikTok feed to the brim with those videos telling you, hey, this guy's gonna do this, and it's gonna do this, and it's gonna do this. And will some of those be true? Yeah, probably. Will some of them most of them probably be lies? Also, yeah, probably. But that's how they're gonna do it. That's how they're gonna get you to elect your next official. They're gonna want you to go off of stuff like TikTok. They're not gonna want you to like do your own research actually and look through multiple sources and look at both parties and both sides and see who you should really vote for and make a decision yourself. They want to make the decision for you.
China has infiltrated the West with countless spies that have slept with the heads of the national security.
A bombshell new report says a suspected Chinese spy targeted California politicians. One of her biggest targets was Bay Area Representative Eric Swalwell.
China is taking over the universities and schools across the West, and now China is taking over the culture. It took until 2020 when the bubble burst did we catch on to what was going on. We had been played. A sudden novel virus emerging from China, a sudden militarization of China's military, a sudden realization of...
That's another thing. A lot of people are like, oh, the virus totally didn't come from China. It's like, BS didn't come from China. And then they're like, oh, it's not made in a lab. Like, BS again, that wasn't made in a lab. Like, are you I don't say this like that, but are you literally retarded? Like, to think that it didn't come from a lab? You're saying it just popped up out of nowhere? Like, sure, some diseases, do they pop up out of nowhere through, like, some other means, like animals or something? Yeah, sure, but a virus this widely spread? No way. No, it's, again, here's a video game reference. Resident Evil type stuff, where they're developing, like, a whole little virus to sell as a weapon or use as a weapon. Like, look.
Of the national security threat TikTok posed? We were finally confronted with the truth. It has taken until today when governments and elites are beginning to wake up to this dawning realization that World War III...
I think it's been confirmed too that China made the virus, or the virus leaked from a lab in China. I'll switch that up after this video ends because we only got like a minute left.
Is no longer a fantasy. Our governments, having been hesitant to even consider the thought of banning TikTok, are now realizing the grave danger we are in. China is currently telling its military to prepare for war. China is taking foreign hostages within its own country. China is rapidly building up its military. China is developing AI technology never seen before in the West. And China is now not only engaging in skirmishes with our allies, but is now preparing for a full-blown war with Taiwan, sending over more than 150 fighter jets to surround Taiwan. As a last resort, our governments have joined a pact to begin countering China's preparation for war. But perhaps it's too late. With our society more divided than ever, with our politicians weaker than ever, with our youth more controlled than ever, when you connect all these dots, you start to realize where the real wealth behind TikTok lies. It lies in our addiction. It lies in our shortened attention spans. It lies in our own demise. TikTok allows China to gain vast sums of money from playing on our own psychology, promising you that dopamine hit, that dream, that attention, dangling it in front of you like a carrot on a stick, disguised as an innocent little app. But there are those of you that are concerned with what's going on, those of you who care about your privacy, those of you who care about your attention, those of you who understand the other side. And so to those of you who feel this way, I feel the need to remind you to delete TikTok. Because
do that
if we
right
want
now.
a high quality future,
Download
we
it, talk
must
to a friend, that
reject
friend can
our
talk to
low
them through
quality
Instagram.
present.
They don't have Instagram, get it. There, it's deleted. I don't need that stuff, dude. I don't need that stuff. I mean, Instagram tracks me too. Everything tracks you, to be honest. I know I said I was gonna download a virus, but or not a virus. I was gonna download a browser and go to TikTok, but I just realized that browser was like a private browser anyways, so it wasn't really gonna be as effective as like a different browser. And all my other browsers all have accounts on them because I got Brave and everything. But you get the point. Let's touch up that China thing. Here, let me take out cats. COVID-19 China lab. Okay, do 3 new studies add to proof of COVID-19's origin in animal market. So this is apparently an alleged place. Alright, let's look at some more stuff. I'm not gonna read any of these, but let's look at the levitativity to this. Or whatever. I forgot the word. I'm sorry. Because, you know, just one article saying that, sure, you can excuse that, because it's one article that just says that, so it's probably someone just talking out of their butt. But when you see, like, stuff like articles and journal sites like Washington Post, The Guardian, NBC, okay, so let's see. China says COVID might have originated in U.S., cause there's no way it originated in the U.S. Where was the first case? Where was the first COVID case? Washington State resident. The timeline of the COVID. No, I don't want an American. When was coronavirus first identified? It caused a common cold later that decade. In 19. God, it's like a whole timeline. I just want like one simple question answered. Alright, here's what we know. It was first detected in China in late 2019 and has set off a global pandemic. You know why they call it COVID-19 and not COVID-20? Because in 2020, that's when things shut down. They call it COVID-19 because in very late 2019 was when the virus came out. That was when the virus started spreading in all the other countries. But the reason they don't call it COVID 2020 is because it only got to the US in like very early 2020. So yeah, BS COVID didn't come from a lab, and BS COVID didn't come from China. Honestly, like I will tape that to my grave. But yeah. Anyways, sorry for being so spurty this stream, kind of during that TikTok topic. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please smash like, subscribe, and yeah, delete TikTok off your phone. Uninstall it, block it off your web browsers, and I'll see you guys next time.